I'm Pete McKee, I'm a Sheffield artist and I've been painting for 15 years. I started in 2005. That was the first mark I put on one of my finished paintings, it was '05. My last exhibition, which was This Class Works, I started pushing what I wanted to do with what I'd got in front of me, my materials, to a point where I was evolving my work. But there was a sort of a boundary, a physical boundary, which was the black line. And I felt I wanted to see what would happen if I took that black line away. Would my work change in any great significance? So I dared myself to basically paint up, take the black line away and paint up to paint, really. And it changed everything in a way. It changed how the painting felt. It changed how I had to approach it. But one thing I didn't change was the materials. The materials still stayed the same, which is emulsion paint, basically an MDF board. So I still had this one particular manifesto that the paintings are still using very basic materials, but I tried to do something different with them. The journey's been really interesting because what's happened is my characters now are fleshed out. Whereas before there was an anonymity to them, they were characters that you had to add your own background story to them in a sense, because I left all that out. You included that when you looked at the work. But now with this, I'm almost saying this is how I imagine them when I'm painting them. With Waltzer Boy, who features in the new exhibition, there is now more of a definite backstory. The character himself was influenced by a film called That'll Be the Day, when Ringo Starr played a teddy boy working in a fairground along with David Essex. He was kind of an influence in that character because the Waltzer Boy that I painted had a quiff. The Waltzer Boys that I knew as a teenager growing up was more likely to have loppy long hair. And so I borrowed sort of the more historic version of what a Waltzer Boy was. But when I've painted him for this new show, he's a few years on now. He doesn't work on the waltzers anymore. He works on the speedway, still works in the fairground, but he's been away for a while, shall we say. And he's come back a little bit more with more scars, more tattoos and more wrinkles. But I've been able to show that because in this new style, it's a warts and all sort of approach to the characters. This new style is really hard to paint because I'm having to move the paint around, creating shade, shadow, and the medium I'm using, emulsion paint, is very unforgiving. It's very stubborn. It dries really quickly. Sometimes it's hard to cover. It's an awkward paint to use. It's my make. I've tried to use acrylics, funnily enough. Tried a couple of paintings in this new style with acrylics and I hated it, couldn't get on with it at all. So I'm back to my old mates, the emulsion paints, and we're getting on now. We're understanding what our limits are and our capacity. I hope when people see the exhibition and they walk out, still love my work and have a passion for it that I have, and that the characters that I've painted fill their lives as the other characters I've painted in the past have. And it's business as usual, but just in a different form.